Now for the need to know. As of this taping, Riverside County COVID cases are trending downward. There are 323 people currently hospitalized with COVID, including 61 patients in the ICU. On February 15th, Governor Newsom dropped the mandatory indoor mask mandate, but all California public school students must still wear masks until further notice. Governor Newsom also announced last week that we will transition from a pandemic state to an endemic, moving us out of crisis mode. The governor rolled out the new SMARTER plan, which stands for the tools we now have to tackle COVID-19 challenges. Shots, masks, awareness, readiness, testing, education, and RX meaning evolving and improving drug treatments. The SMARTER plan will guide California's strategic approach to managing COVID-19 while moving the state's recovery forward. Did you know that California's new organic waste disposable law, SB 1383, went into effect January 2022? Organic waste buried in landfills emits methane, which contributes to global climate warming. The new state law aims to reduce these emissions by processing natural food waste more efficiently. I spoke with Art Marquez from Waste Management, WM, to learn more.
Organic waste creates 330 billion pounds of landfill garbage in North America each year. In an effort to lower that number, California became the first state to mandate organic waste reduction.
1383 is the most significant waste reduction mandate to be adopted in California in the last 30 years. It requires the state to reduce organic waste, which is your food waste, green waste, paper products, etc., by 75% by 2025. In other words, the state must reduce organic waste disposal by more than 20 million tons annually by 2025.
The law redirects residential organic waste to composting and digesting operations, creating valuable soil amendments for agricultural use. The first step of the process requires residents to put their organic waste into the green yard waste bins.
Some of those materials can include fruit, vegetable, bread and grain waste. You got your floral and yard waste. You've got dairy waste that can also include soiled paper. And within that, though, there are certain things that we ask to not be included. So that would be anything with plastic, loose plastic bags. We ask that you don't place any serverware in there, any plastic containers, any foam containers, or any hazardous waste, of course.
What about our trash bill? Is it going to increase at all with this new law?
So unfortunately, with this new law, there's what cities or counties call an unfunded mandate. This is a very costly process that asks our haulers to take this organic material to facilities that are further, that ask for more outreach, more monitoring. So there's a lot more required, and this does translate to an increased rate.
I see. So what about businesses? Are they going to have to comply as well?
Yes, and the business aspect of that is to establish food recovery programs that help donate any unused food to those in need. So those type of programs will have to begin to get established. Primarily, restaurants are required to have an organic recycling waste program that collects their food scraps on a weekly basis. They also need to have education signs that guide customers to recycle correctly. So it's a pretty large process altogether.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
That was great information about the new law. But what about composting at home? Here's SOI correspondent Roman Hill and SOI team member Stefano Olaya with tips on how to get started.
Thanks, Mia. Creating your own compost is really easy, and it makes an excellent amendment for your lawn and garden. Stefano, have you ever composted before?
No, I haven't, but I know it involves yard waste mixed with kitchen scraps.
Right. You have to mix in the right proportions so that it turns into compost, what people call black gold. Here's a picture of the end result.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So how do we make it?
There are a lot of different methods, but we're going to do one that's super simple. It's in a small bin, which is perfect for a small garden, but the method is pretty much the same. If you want to use a bigger bin, the most important thing is that you have a good cover. Do you know why?
So that all the critters don't get in?
Exactly. You don't want any getting into your compost. You start with a good bin, such as what we have here, then you drill in about 20 holes in the top and another 20 in the bottom. Do you know why?
So that there's good airflow?
Yes, getting oxygen in the container speeds breakdown of the materials, which causes the temperature to increase and creates a hot composting process. The first layer we start with are sticks or branches. It's for good drainage and airflow. The first two layers of the brown materials are carbon-rich food sources for the organisms that break down the material. For the second layer, add small pieces of leaves and dry brush.
How much leaves and dry brush do we use?
Put on enough to cover the sticks, but make sure the brown layers together come to about half of your total materials. Third layer is good garden soil, which has microorganisms in it that accelerate the composting process.
How much do we add of that?
Just kind of sprinkle on a thin layer. If it's too thick, it'll block the airflow. We also add some food scraps in the next layer. You can collect kitchen scraps using a container like this one, which has a charcoal filter to keep the smell out. Scraps are a nitrogen-rich material that heats compost up as it helps the microorganisms grow and multiply quickly. Kitchen scraps such as fruits and veggies, eggshells, and coffee grounds are all good, but don't add any meat.
Why can't we compost meats?
It's not recommended because it breeds the bad bacteria we don't want in there. Add more soil on top to help with the decomposing process. And it keeps the smell away. Add a little bit of water, just damp, not drenched. It helps decomposing, then it's ready.
Where is the best place to put it outside?
We'll put it in a sunny spot since the warmth helps with the decomposition.
Do we leave it or do we need to stir it around?
Occasionally stir it or shake it to help redistribute the hot compost in the center into a cooler outer compost.
How do we know when it's ready?
This small bin should only take a month or so, but you'll know when you see that all this material has broken down. The finished product will look and feel like dark, rich soil with a deep, earthy smell, and you shouldn't feel any heat in the materials.
That was pretty easy. I really want to try it at home now.
Great! We should all do our part. It's good for the environment and reduces landfill waste. Thanks for your help, Stefano. Back to you, Mia.
Thank you, Roman and Stefano. It's good to know that it's so easy to compost at home. Maybe someone